All right, y'all. We're gonna do a little peace. How y'all feeling, man? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was rude. But how y'all feeling, man?
During the revolution, famous French.
Led from the hood, then you can't go back. Trained in the ways of the ancient fact. Blazing the pace with the trees all stacked. Making the waves push people back. Push people back. Late to the stage they come. Papers to blaze the punk. Police on the beats we run. High rise on an equal chunk. I'm above, you're below us all. No love in the doja fools. Utilize my golden tool. No repentance is overdue. If you're in the block or the whip then raise up a hand or a lighter. Murderous phrases, I'm hyper. Making my way through the night just. If you're in a block or a whip just raise up a hand and a lighter. Murderous phrases, I'm hyper. Making my way through the night just. Led from the hood and you can't go back. Trained in the ways of the ancient fact. Blazing the pace with the trees all stacked. Making the waves push.
Welcome everybody to part 2. So we left off with Hidden Hand saying, I am a generational member of a ruling bloodline family. So every so often, as per the directives of our law of our creator, a brief window of opportunity opens, whereby a select handful of our family are required to make communication with our subjects and offer you the chance to ask us any questions you would like answered. Alright? Alright, as its earliest ancestor in a position of power. Our last person's question that you rephrased.
What a beautiful.
Never.
What a beautiful.
I want you to know that those who believe in the ancient mystery religion do not have a similar concern. They believe that murder is acceptable if it protects the secret. The Masonic Lodge has 2 layers inside, those who know the secret and those who do not. And that secret layer is concealed inside the Masonic Lodge, in part by the use of a coded language. Once those who study the Masonic Lodge break the code, they can understand a great deal about the Masonic Lodge.
Today, we'll be talking about the invisible society, known as the Black Hand. I want y'all to know that I place myself in a great position of danger when I talk about these Grand Lodges and these Freemasons. A lot of these guys was masterminds and they came up with ideas to take over the world. Their main goal was to gain knowledge through experimentation. They would study us, and every time we would take a step ahead in life, we would take 2 steps backwards. This would be your invisible society, also known as the puppet masters. And you would never see these people. They are behind the scene, pulling the strings. The real enemy is not these 6 ether beings. They look just like me. I'm talking about the most powerfulest ones. They have the black hands. Now your invisible society would later be accused of using dark arts and evil science on us. And this will lead to a lot of their members being persecuted. A lot of these people will try to disguise themselves in our community. But they say all skin folk is not kinfolk. We are now fully aware of who these people are, and now they are starting to run underground to avoid detection, to avoid being executed. The invisible society have now fallen.
This is one of Satan's. Listen closely to this movie from 1979.
So, what the... Forgive the sleight of hand, Sir Charles. In the pursuit of criminals, one learns their devices.
I say, Holmes, what is this mumbo-jumbo?
The handshake and the ring, Watson, are archaic rituals preserved by the 33rd degree members of the secret order of Freemasons.
We are not a secret order.
Your existence is no secret. Your rituals and membership are secrets you guard as closely as you may, which is why you removed the writing from the wall.
I am responsible for the safety of the people of this city and their right to go safely about their business.
Does that include the right to murder and mutilate?
You fool! Jews would have been slaughtered in the streets if I had not had those words removed. Do you know the theory, given greatest credence among the common people, that this is a blood ritual carried out by some Jew whose religious fervor sends him out in search of prostitutes to offer as a sacrifice to his god? If those words had been seen, not a Jew would have been safe. Their houses and their shops would be destroyed.
Nonsense, Warren. The writing had nothing to do with the Jews. You know that as well as I do. You did not remove that writing to protect Jews against anti-Semitic rage. The Jews, or Jewes, referred to, are from your own secret society of the Loyal Order of Freemasons.
We are a benevolent society. We are no danger...
Listen closely to this movie from 19...
hand. Many famous figures and main...
Did you know some of the richest and most famous slave owners were black? Here are the top 5. 1. Anthony Johnson, an African American who lived in the British colony of Virginia in the 17th century and was a very wealthy slave owner. 2. Elizabeth Fraser Skelton. Between 1834 and 1847, she was the owner and manager of the famous upscale hotel in Charleston, South Carolina. 3. William Ellison was a very famous African American slave owner and merchant in South Carolina in the 19th century. 4. John Carruthers Stanley was an African American who held slaves in the state of North Carolina in the 19th century. 5. Antoine de Buclet was an African American who held slaves in the state of Louisiana in the 19th century. Now you know.
the black hand.
The black
is the black hand, because niggas asking like they still asking, what's the black hand, man? Who is he talking about? When he say the black hand, the black hand. Who is this
the black hand? Okay, so in Barcelona, Spain, it was the organization known as the Black Brotherhood of Spain. All right, it's said different in Spanish, but I'm translating it into English for y'all to understand better. This Black Brotherhood of Spain came into the south of the United States, and they used to raid the villages with a regalia on. We know this regalia today as the regalia of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, right? And the black hand was the black hand that hung from under the white robe that led the raid. He was the organizer and the grand dragon of the chapter, right? Hell, he could be the supreme grand wizard of several chapters over their grand dragons. So this black hand was the most feared thing in the South. It was the black nobility of Europe's creation to terrorize the peasantry into following the edicts of the king over there. When they got over here, they used them to try to terrorize the natives, right? And we recognize and identify them as the black hand, right? They also known in Europe as the black hand, right? But that's who the black hand is. It's the black nobility of Europe.
They look like us, but they ain't us. That's the famous quote.
Yeah, them stinking motherfuckers.
They look like us, but they ain't us. So they come over, they really avatars to me, man. They avatars, you know, for some reptilians, some other race.
I don't care if they avatars or not. I know they spirit artificial.
Yeah, they artificial. You can tell because Bible used to say, like he used to say all the time.
In Islam, they got something called the Yaqub story.
I do.
So a lot of these people that look like us in the Nation of Islam, they got something called the Yaqub story, right? And in the Yaqub story, when Yaqub knew he wasn't going to live to see into fruition his creation, right? He left niggas in charge to continue his work of creating a physically and genetically inferior being that would rule over a superior. So they say that Yaqub was the god of the era, right? So if Yaqub was the god of the era that created the so-called white man or the blue-eyed devil, then who gonna undo this shit? Because even in the story, it tells you how to undo it, right? So when you look around the earth, you find different species of hominids. And like you say, everywhere you get to the melanated ones, we left in the back at the bottom. That's because we accumulating something called pre-karma. While they clean up the genetic fuck up, we take the suffering in order to reap the greatest benefit at the close of the age. Somebody had to do it, but didn't nobody want to volunteer. So just make them all ignorant. How you gonna make everybody ignorant? Kali Yuga. In Nuwapu, we call that Kali Yuga the spell of Kingu, which is the spell of sleep, which ties to the story of Orpheus, right? The keeper of dreams. And when we put it all together, we find out that if there's some Negroes that's keeping Yaqub's grafted devil in their place, then it got to be some Negroes pulling the strings behind white supremacy. But first we got to understand what in the fuck is white supremacy. This is going to take us to legalese, because a free white person in law, for lack of a better way to put it, is a Moor. And the ones who become aware, they tried to change their status, but their organizations was infiltrated by somebody called Zionist Jews. They look like us, but they ain't us. These are the ones inscripted with keeping Yaqub's mandates until the close of the age, when it all had to be revealed what was taking place. So while we was going through our suffering, polarization between black males and pale women and pale men and black women was overly exaggerated to the point where, so a lot of these people that look like us in the Nation of Islam, they got something called the
I've been out front with the thugs and the guards. I've been on the yard with the Mexican mafia, and I only run with niggas that are killing die for ya. I'm popular, I'm a rap star, but I live like a rock star running from the cop car. I drop bars on slaps that knock hard. I've been out front with the thugs and the guards. I've been on the yard with the Mexican mafia, and I only run with niggas that are killing die for ya. I'm popular, I'm a rap star, but I live like a rock star running from the cop car. I drop bars on slaps that knock hard.
Belong to these black nobles who, these people are not the richest people in the world. The money that they hold or protect is belong to these black nobles who hide out in Fez City in Morocco in the Sahara Desert, like in John Wick. This guy right here is what they call a marquis, or treasurer. He a treasurer of the high table. And his family is responsible for the funds and keeping the collection of the funds for the high table. Remember Bumpy Johnson told you he had made the plug, and the plug was from Corsicana. And this they flag right here, the same flag for Switzerland. The Red Cross. These people right here is those Jacob Rothschild is protecting the money for these people. But the niggas who John Wick was after on Part 4, the high table, when they started to go against the high table, they had to go to Morocco to Fez City. That's a big connection right there. Keep in mind, another one of they marquis, who was one of the baddest man in the West, front man, Skull and Bones. Keep in mind, Skull and Bones is the front team for these guys hiding in Morocco and Fez City. These black hand, the high table guys. These people.
What in tarnations?